What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, we're going to be diving on into a title that I like very much. This is one of those games that has grown on me like a moss. This game is a ton of fun, and it's called the Doors of Trithius. And if you don't mind the fact that the game has kind of like Super Nintendo-era graphics, I think you'll like it as well. This is a true sandbox RPG, a la something like Soul Ash or Kenshi, where you are dropped into a wide, procedurally generated open world, and you're just some guy. And you can do whatever you want inside that world. There's crafting, there's trade skills, there's fighting, there's now factional warfare. Cities go to war with one another, and you can jump in on a side to get reputation and things of that nature. And I think the game is rad. So today we're going to check the game out for about 30 minutes and see if it's something you wanted to add to your wish list or otherwise pass on. If after watching this you wanted to get the game for yourself, I do have a link for you down below in the description. On top of that, you can also find a link to my Discord and my Twitch stream, where you will find a 4-hour VOD of me building this character specifically for this video. We're about 4 or 5 hours in right now to this character's development, and I'm actively questing at the moment. I've got a main storyline quest right now to go down into a gremlin fortress and defeat the gremlins so that I can discover some post-apocalyptic event that's currently taking place. And so that's exactly what we're doing. When it comes to gameplay mechanics, this game's pretty simple. Make money, get new equipment, find new trade skills, find new recipes, get more powerful, and there's a lot of things to occupy your time with here. We unfortunately have a shaman and also like a warrior inside this room. This fight may go really, really poorly. This game is very heavily inspired by roguelikes, and so you're going to find that it's actually quite easy to get yourself busted up in this title if you're not careful. Luckily, we eked out a stun right there. Perfect, and we've got ourselves a little bit wounded, so what I'd like to do now is let's eat some food real fast, and then we'll just pass some turns until I get my HP on back. Right now in this playthrough, there's a bunch of archetypes when you start the game on out. Everything from druids to vagrants to knights. Some of these characters do have differentiated mechanics that I do recommend taking a look at. In today's playthrough, I'm playing as a knight, and I'm specialized fully in warhammers and in sword and board combat. The knight is kind of different from a lot of the other classes because he comes with a special mechanic called oaths. And basically what the oaths do is anytime you fight a certain kind of enemies, you generate an oath. And then you've got to go to a shrine and you've got to pray in order to find guidance. And when you pray, you'll get different bonuses in exchange for your oaths. So for example, what I did with my last batch of like 150 completed oaths is that I used them to level up my character 3 or 4 times, but I could have used them to get money from my Knights Guild. I could have used them to get all kinds of things. It's really up to you what you want to do. But some of the characters do have fun mechanics like that where they get to actively interact with the world in different ways. Skills in this title are like a Bethesda game. They level up as you use them, which leads to very, very robust characters that tend to have a lot of different skills and things they can do. I'll go ahead and break open the skill sheet for you right here. Every single one of these skills has a skill tree. These skill trees are being reworked in the next patch. The developer's been teasing it with screenshots. So all of these icons are going to get a lot less utilitarian, and they're going to get a lot prettier. But every single trade skill in the game, and there are a lot of them, I think I've counted 10 or 12 as of right now, and I've got a big chunk of them. I don't have all of them yet, but I've got most of them. Every single one of these levels up through usage. So for example, when you are doing survivalism, if I drop into any tile on the overworld map, you can just wander around in a procedural forest and you can pick berries and you can forage for food and you can do that kind of stuff. This will level up, and then you can get a bunch of different passives and actives that make it better. You can get different crafting recipes that will make your life easier along the way. Botany is the same thing except for alchemical ingredients. There's reading. You can read books in this game, and when you finish reading them, you learn stuff about the world, and it'll give you points that you can use to get powerful perks that make you much more street smart and better at interacting with the world of Analia. Medicine, pretty self-explanatory. If you bandage a wound, you get better at medical science, and then you'll be able to unlock passives and perks, and you'll be able to craft new first aid things. There's other stuff as well. So if you go to cooking, you know, your character's got to eat. There are survival mechanics in this game. So getting better at cooking and boiling and meat preparation and peeling and pan frying all has utility there, but there are combat ones as well. I've got chivalry over here, which comes with the knight. This allows me to get a bunch of supplementary abilities that boost my defense and make me more retaliatory and make me more difficult to take down. Quarter Mastery has to do with the maintenance and repair of all of your gear and also the weight that you can carry inside of combat. So there's lots of things to interact with here, and because these aren't tied to your actual character level itself, instead tied through usage, you end up with characters that are very interesting and have a lot of things that they can do. You're not really shoehorned into any one play style. It's very sandboxy, and I like it. You also have your weapon masteries over here. I haven't really been fighting with any weapons other than maces and hammers and bludgeons the entire game, and so I've mostly got things that have to do with stunning the enemy and crippling the enemy and causing them all kinds of wounds that make them harder to fight. But every time these categories level up, you get focus points, and you spend those focus points down here in the trees, which, like I said, are being redone as of right now on behalf of the developer to make them look more modern and more sexy. I find the skill system in this game to be really robust. It's actually one of the reasons that I got into the game super hard, is that in a lot of games, what happens is you need to like dedicate to one thing to get really, really good at it, and if you don't do that, the game scales, so by mid-game, you're going to really, really struggle against enemies if you've been a jack of all trade. Not a problem in this title. Hasn't been an issue yet so far, because if I want a new skill, I buy that new skill, or I get that new skill, and then I go out into the overmap world, and you can drop into any map and just beat up weak enemies until you level up and get stronger. Oh, I've got a bleed on me right now. Let's go ahead and run a bandage real fast in order to fix that. I'm also going to eat a boiled egg and an apple. Yeah, boiled eggs and apples, the dinner of champions. We also have a goblin spawner down here that I'm going to go ahead and take care of. The abilities that I've accumulated over the course of my playthrough, I've got some utility in here. I've got some attack in here. I've got some defense in here. I've got Knight's Grace. It allows me to increase my attack speed by 15%, which allows me to get a double turn like every 3 or 4 turns. I've got On Guard. It drains my energy in combat, but it gives me a bunch of passive wound reduction and also a bunch of resistances. I've got Jump, which allows for mobility. I've got Sprint, which is kind of the same thing, but I've been a little bit disappointed by Sprint. Sprint lets you take a double turn, but only with regards to movement, like every 4 turns. And so I like Jump better because I get the movement all right now, but Sprint can be nice if you're trying to escape, and this is a world that is full of threats and things that want to hurt you. I've got the Beatdown, which is a double attack that deals less damage but has a high chance to stun the enemy. I've got Overcome the Odds, which is a war cry that cleanses a bunch of debuffs from me and also gives me bonuses for the debuffs that have been dispelled. And then I've got Toe Crusher, which is effectively a hamstring. Like, I crippled the enemy so that they can't move around very much, because there are a lot of enemies in this game that like to kite. They will try to stay away from you. The AI in this game is not terrible. It's better than you would expect for a roguelike-inspired RPG. Ranged characters do tend to like fire and walk backwards and stay away. Ooh, this is going to be a tough fight. I don't like this. This is a problem. Okay, let's go ahead and see if we can eke out a stun on him early. I'm going to go with a lot of energy expenditure early, because this potion throwing guy puts random debuffs on you, like every single time he hits you, and I would rather not deal with that mayhem. Like, it's got not a Tarkov style system where you take wounds, but wounds in this game are unapologetically permanent a lot of the time until you first aid them and treat them. And if you haven't been carrying around the stuff you need in order to do that, it's going to be a problem, and you're going to have to play through the rest of the dungeon pretty busted up and feeling bad. A good example of this would be sometimes when he throws a potion on me and it hits me in the face, it'll apply a burn to my character. That's a burn that's just there forever until you use a soothing balm on it. There's really no way to get rid of it. You can also use herbal tea. When you drink herbal tea, it boosts your regeneration, and it gives you, like, I think a 10% chance per turn to dispel all debuffs, but that's pretty much gambling. So this is one of the reasons why I dedicated pretty hard, pretty early on into my run to first aid and learning how to take care of my character. Otherwise, you're just going to spend a fortune at the alchemist or at, like, the doctor's office buying new things. The game does allow you to save whenever, wherever. You can get full Shakira with it if you want. Let's see if we can stun him up. He's unfortunately got Thorn Mail, which means that I take damage every single time I hit him. I also have Thorn Mail, so he's taking damage every time he hits me too. But it tends to add up. Additive effects in this game tend to be kind of an issue. We've actually got No energy left, and we've got a rogue on us right now. I don't know what I want to do about that. This may be the end. I'm going to eat a boiled egg. I went for the stun right there. Daggers in this game are really, really strong. You should keep that. Oh, he's running from me. Nice. Where'd he go? He vanished? Oh, there he is. He's running from me right now. I was starting off a thought now, too. Oh, daggers. Daggers are gnarly in this game. Any enemy that has daggers, you should be very, very, very suspicious of them. Because daggers have a massive chance to stack up bleeds on an opponent. And if you get a couple of those bleeds going, it's going to be a little bit of a nightmare to get rid of it. There were a lot of enemies over here. I'm a little bit stressed right now. We picked up some wood. That's going to be a crafting good right there. Potions on the shelves, some narine, which I can use for making health potions. We've got a potion over there, too. I do have alchemy. I haven't worked on it a whole lot because it requires a little bit more farming than a lot of the other trade skills. I don't naturally find the things that I need in order to level up alchemy. I actually have to contrive an adventure and go find them, which is perfectly fine. That's not a complaint. I just haven't gotten around to it yet 5 hours into this playthrough. I also don't have a lot of the techniques I need in order to do really, really good alchemy, and so I need to get to it. I need to start working on it, but I haven't done it yet. Another goblin rogue, huh? He swapped me out. If I could get a stun right here, that'd be fantastic. Where'd he go? He vanished on me again. There he is. He's actually pretty resistant to being stunned. At the moment, I've got a decent amount of cash. I've also got backup weapons because your equipment, it degrades. It doesn't have explicit durability that it's like, it has this many uses till it breaks, but it does break kind of randomly, so you'll want to keep an eye on it. I'm going to fight this goblin ogre hybrid over here. We killed him before he got his nasty abilities off because there's a wizard back there, and I need him to pull over to... Oh, there's two wizards. Not great. Okay, I'll jump in over here then. That's all my stamina gone. We are actively losing health right now, though, because we're standing inside his little warp field thing that he puts on the ground. I had a necklace that dispels. It gave me 75% resistance to all hexes. Anything that has like a purple spell graphic is a hex from what I've been able to tell so far. And I had that on, but it came with a curse, unfortunately. So, like, I had to have that on, but it made me heal super slowly, so I ended up getting rid of it. It's sitting in my chest back at my house right now. I do have a cooking bench over here, but I don't think that I have much to cook at the moment. We may be able to dig something out of one of these meat bags, though. We need to be careful, because there's a lot of blood on the floor of the dungeon. There's these things called Ravagers. I guess I should explain the universe's lore. So if there's too much blood on a map, it will spawn a thing that's called a blood leech. It will tell you up here in the event log that a blood leech has spawned. You gotta find the blood leech and you gotta kill it. Otherwise, it'll make a big cocoon in like one corner of the dungeon. And a Ravager, which is effectively a xenomorph, will spawn out of that. And Ravagers are a giant headache that can basically torpedo an entire dungeon for you if you're not ready for them. Like, they can become these guardsmen that lock you out of a dungeon entirely just by their presence. And so I would prefer to not have any Ravagers on grid right now. I would really, really prefer that. We've been netted by the goblin down here. There does seem to be pretty decent enemy variety inside the context of the game from what I've seen so far. Think about how many different goblins you've seen just in this run. There's alchemy goblins, there's rogue goblins, there's bruiser goblins, there's, magic goblins, there's goblins with harpoons that try to, like, tack you down sort of gladiator style with a net. There's stealing goblins that will pick up any loot off the ground that you've been too slow to pick up and run off with it. There's goblin kings, there's goblin sergeants. And there are many factions in this game. There's not just goblins. For example, there's a berserker barbarian faction as well, and they've got a bunch of different characters. There's tons of wildlife that lives in the world of this game, everything from turkeys to bees. There's a lot of enemy variety here, and the cool thing is, what is he? The Gremlin Shaman Elder. Okay. Oh, he put down a big grid. That's a little concerning. I can't say I'm in love with it. Is that gonna go away? He is gonna step in on me. I'll see if I can stun lock him a little bit and fight our way out of this hole we're in. We got pretty close to death right there. I'm going through boiled eggs like a maniac. We got 2 foods on right now. Get a little HP back, Stypticus, and an elderberry. I think elderberries help with healing. They do, yeah. Elderberries are like basically miniature health potions. So there we go. Gave me like 6 health back per elderberry. Let's save our game real quick. The game does save whenever you enter a new floor. I need to jump down to here to get out of his AoE. We'll stun him up a little bit. I think I got some bludgeon levels and stuff to spend too. Some nice big beefy crits right there. You love to see it. I've also got like a nice portfolio of potions at the moment that hopefully I'll be able to do something with. Rat tail inside of there. That's usable by alchemy. Pass a turn or 2. There we go. Turns have been passed. What is that? Oh no. I may have just released something. What I released, I don't know. It might be an ogre. It might be a dragon. Sometimes these gremlins, they have creatures that their hunters have captured, and they've got them inside these giant golden cages, and I didn't recognize the switch sprite, and so I just hit the switch, so that thing's now loose in the dungeon, whatever it is. It's almost universally not a good thing. Oh, I've been stunned. Okay, all right. Knock him out. If you're wondering what those things are that are falling out of the goblins when I kill them, those little like squiggle monster things on the ground, the main storyline quest as it stands right now is that goblin kind is being taken over by kind of like this brain fungus. And so mankind and gremlins have gotten along for a long time. They don't like each other, but they don't actively try to murder each other either. The brain fungus is making the gremlins crazy, and they are now attacking all of the other races on the map. And so that's why I'm down in the gremlin fortress right now, is because I heard that there was a magical artifact down here. Oh, there's another one. I heard there was a magical artifact down here that was going to, I could give it to a scientist or like an alchemist, and he could help us figure out what's going on with the goblins. I don't know if there's more storyline after that. I haven't been doing a lot of the storyline because I've been doing lots of the procedurally generated quests to level up. And now I'm at like level 15. I got stomped out by a level 20 guy like instantly when I was level 4. And so I dedicated wholly to the task of leveling up as fast as possible. We got a couple armors in there. That's good. I'll go ahead and take that. Things in this game can be broken down and salvaged into base parts that you can use to repair your equipment. You can see here that my war club is now in worn condition. That means that there's no DPS decrease or anything else like that, but it does mean that it can break at any moment, and then there will actively be a DPS decrease. Get the stink horns down there. Level up my alchemy a little bit. We collected stagnant water from the well. That's probably for a quest, would be my guess. After water, oh my god, what is that thing? I don't even know what that is. Okay. I don't know if it's wiser to jump into them at this point, or if it's wiser to stay back. Let's start with you. Wipe you. Oh, there's another one over there. This may be really, really bad for us. Yeah, I gotta stay out of this AoE. My weapon broke officially, so actually I think it's time to run away. Let's go ahead and get away from him real fast, because I gotta go back to town and fix my gear. We'll jump over to here to get a little bit of a gap on him. There we go. Once we're clear of monsters, you can press B at any time to just, like, leave the dungeon if you want. I gotta find a spot where I can do it, though. It may be because they're aggroed. I'll go back up to... Oh, he cut through over there. Little champ. All right, we'll go back up to this floor, and then we'll escape the dungeon real fast. I'm going to go back to town and fix my stuff. We've got a lot of loot and things to break down anyways, so it's not that big of a deal. This is a small town. One of the new features the game has is that each of these towns has a prosperity, and you also have a reputation with these towns, with these factions, and when you get your reputation up, good things happen. And I've actually gone through and I've gotten my reputation up to max with one of them, so you can see the kind of potential bonuses you get. So with the Verdant Guard over here, oh, there is a bug I need to report, though. Whenever there's a battle, you get reputation for joining a side in that battle. However, if you go out and you farm, chickens or bees or whatever on the battle map, after you get done with the battle, it gives you reputation for every single kill, as though you're still in the battle. But you get a 30% discount from this faction, which is great. You can buy a house, which I do own one back in the main city. You get more town services, and as the prosperity of these towns go up from you doing their random quests, they will get more shops. These empty derelict buildings right here, they will fill in with new shops, and then the shops will also carry more goodies. I've got a level up ready to rock right now, so I may as well take this as an opportunity to show you what a level up looks like. You take a deep sleep, you'll get a dream, and then you'll get 2 skill points that will give you 2 free level ups for any of these skills that you want without you having to go out and actually do the task itself. I've been focusing on becoming more literate because the books in this game seem to be really strong, and they seem to give you a lot of big buffs that'll help out later on in the game. And so I've been working on my literacy, but I can put these into whatever the hell I want. I was just talking about alchemy, so if I wanted to level alchemy more quickly, level ups in this game, they act as sort of a method by which to achieve that madness. If there's something you're trying to power level, you can use your skill points on it, but it will also level up through usage. We probably also want to put points in chivalry because it's kind of a pain to level up. And so I'll go up to level 10 chivalry. This game has JRPG rules from the 90s. You can loot anybody's house that you want. There's usually not anything crazy inside of there, but you can do it if you desire to do so. I'll travel over to this place. We're a little bit hungry too. I think I'm going to have to cook off some food. We may need to raid somebody's farm. Is there an alchemist in this town? If there's an alchemist, I need him to identify my potions too. Well, we'll start off with trade skills. Let's get that done before we do anything else. So we can go over to this weapon bench over here, and we can disassemble the dual shanks. We can disassemble a scrapwork sword. We can break down a padded coat. Savage body gives 20 physical resist. That's pretty good, but it's not quite as good as what I have right now in my thorn mail, so I'll keep holding on to the thorn mail. And we will get rid of the shield right there, and I should have enough to repair my weapon now. There we go. So I fixed my weapon. I don't have a lot of crafting recipes for the basic workbench as of right now, maybe someday. But I do have quite a few cooking recipes. Unfortunately, I haven't really picked up anything to cook. So it may not be a bad idea for us to actually free roam on one of the open world maps and start gathering some cooking ingredients, because I'm going through my food pretty rapidly in that gremlin dungeon. It's a little bit stiffer competition. Oh, never mind. I got a whole bunch of stuff to cook in here. All right, well, give me all my cooking ingredients, and let's see what we can whip together from what we've got on hand. I think I've got some oil right there, too. We've got honey. We've got daisies. All right, so now that I've got all my cooking ingredients on me, we can go down to a cooking bench, and it looks like actually all that I can make right now are roasted haunches, which is a little bit unfortunate. But if I can get some eggs and taters, we might be in good shape, and I think I've got an idea where I can get those eggs and taters. So farmers on the map, they don't really care if you go through their farm and you loot their stuff. And so I'm going to go up to this farm up here in the top left corner. Hopefully I can avoid getting clomped on by enemies. This area was kind of hostile earlier. This place is now destitute, huh? Where's that farm at? Oh, there it is. Okay, there's a gremlin army over there, too, that we'll want to watch out for. Normally, they're not hostile, though. The barbarians will directly come after you, but they might not. Are these potatoes? They're onions. I don't really need onions. I need potatoes. But I will take those real fast. And then we got some eggies over here, too. I grab a few eggs. Eggs are good. Just borrow them from over on this side. I would prefer that you not be able to loot their farm, and you actually have to buy things from the farmer, and then it would raise the prosperity of the farm. That feels more interactive to me, but, like, I don't really care either way, too. I also enjoy I like my free loot. I guess we get some flour. I don't know how to do baking, though, so I can't make an apple pie over there. Maybe I'll try to pick up some potatoes. There's a hammersmith over here, which I've been looking for, actually. I don't know how I missed this guy. I went back to town to buy potatoes. Where's the hammersmith at? Is he just, like, walking around town? Oh, boy, it's pretty empty here. Are there any quests or anything? Oh, wow. I guess the town must have got attacked too much, and now it's just like a derelict. Is anybody inside any of these buildings? Doesn't look like it. Unfortunate. We got to get people to move back over here. I may need to, like, defend this place. It's not the worst idea, maybe, to go through all the empty cabinets, though. and grab the money that's laying around. I sort of very much like that you can come across villages like this that are... Oh, there's a guy. Dilvin the Guard, dedicated to protecting the town. What town? There's nobody even here. It's completely and totally empty. I guess he didn't do too good of a job. Now, normally we would do a bunch of quests in order to boost these guys' popularity up in order to get the Hammersmith to come back, because I would love to buy... I've been using this magic log right here that I've been beating people to death with. It gives me a free turn every 10 turns in combat. Most of my combats don't last that long, but it does give some nice bonuses aside from that. But I've been in the market, now that I have a bunch of money, I've been in the market for buying a new one, like a new magical dope hammer that is beyond reproach, and unfortunately, that's the only Hammersmith around, so till the town comes back to life, I think we're just going to have to wait it out. I would like it if the towns had a tab, like when you right-click on them, that tells you what services are available in that town. I spend a lot of time wandering around being like, was this the town that had the thing that I needed? Luckily, travel, once you've leveled up a little bit, is not altogether that unappealing. When you first start the game out, your character has bad travel skill, and so bad things happen. But my travel skill has gotten higher, so I need this guy to identify my potions. There we go. 30 bucks, and he'll identify all my potions. So I got 3 rat sluck. It's not that great. We've got 2 dada-doo-doos, which increase our damage. It's like a berserker thing. We got some mud milk right there, which makes us heal faster for 20 turns. So basically the same thing as eating a meal. Sometimes people have quests for these little goblin potions, and they'll be posted on the job board. We might be able to just, like, deliver that now and make it happen. As far as quests go, it's pretty simple Battle Brothers stuff. Most of the quests are going to be like, go kill a guy, deliver a thing. You know, sometimes they want you to hand out advertisement pamphlets, so you're basically the little guy on the street corner with the sign. There'll be people that want you to bring them random items that you can only get inside of dungeons. And so they'll be like, bring me a dirty water and I will reward you. What do you have? Do you have potatoes? Nobody has potatoes, man. You're breaking my heart right now. There's berries. I could make fruit tarts, maybe. But I don't know about baking. Okay. Well, I'll just roast off some haunches then. I need yeast for that, too, and I don't have yeast. But we did level up our cooking right there, which is great. So we'll go to our cooking, and I'll probably learn. I've got 1 point right there. I'd like to learn baking. That would be nice. So that's made it so I can do the fruit tart, and I can do umski, and I need vegetable cutting and pie making in order to make an apple pie. Okay, that's fine. There will also be special vendors in the middle of town, like this guy right here. These special vendors, they travel from town to town, and they have very specific, like, gear sets or, like, really rad things on them that cost a lot of money. So, for example, this guy right here has Bone Splint, which is made out of ogre bones, and it'll give me 25 physical resist. That's a 25% damage reduction to anything physical. It lowers my chance of bleeding, crippling, and being hit by missiles by quite a lot, and that's stacking, and it does that without any kind of encumbrance penalty, which is really, really nice. And so by the time you max out this set, you should be a titan. You should be effectively unstoppable. So now, having taken a minute to get my encumbrance down so that I'm not overweight anymore, I think we're about ready to go back to the dungeon. But we've got a map event over here. When traveling, there's always a chance that something will go wrong and you'll be attacked on the road. We're in the middle of a wilderness tile right now, so I'm not that worried about it. At the beginning of the game, this would have been a terrifying encounter that may have led to our death. But at this point, it's just XP farm. Like, these guys can't even really hurt me anymore. There are things on these procedural maps, by the way, and you can drop down onto these maps whenever you want. You can build camps on them so that you have, like, a waypoint in between, like, long hustles in order to rest. There will be, there you go, right there. So we've got a number of alchemical ingredients over there that we could gather from beside the water. You may occasionally find more interesting things. So one time while I was walking around in the wilderness, I found access to a fairy grove. There was a bunch of ponds with fairies in them. And so you could harvest the fairy water, and the fairy water that was in the ponds is basically like a regeneration potion, and it sells for a lot of money, like 25 bucks. If you take it back to town, I think I found 6 or 7 of them, and I made a bunch of money off of it. Lots of iguanas around here, too. You can pick up wood off the ground if you need it for crafting or building or whatever else. There's lots of little things that you can interact with. I tend to come around here because I need these narine. I think these are narine. No, those are lily weeds. Okay. I haven't memorized all the sprites yet, but I am planning on doing a whole bunch of alchemy in the future, so I need to gather berries, and I need to gather some other things from this map. So let me tool around for a minute. There's some right there. It's not very many, but it levels up my survival skill. I was hoping I would find more. And you need these to make health potions, and they are the thing that I've been lacking. Is that you need berries and you need narine to start firing off health potions and level up alchemy. And I do want to level up alchemy because there's some really good potions in this game that will like teleport you to a different spot in a dungeon if you get yourself in over your head. There's potions that'll let you go invisible and disengage from a combat. I've been poisoned by an iguana. Unfortunate, because that's my last antidote. Rip. Hey, more berries laying around, though. We may actually be good on this. Go ahead and eat a couple foods. Survival level 4. You love to see it. Now I kind of want to go back to town and do my alchemy. I may. I don't think we'll level up more than once or twice off of what I've currently got on me. But let's go level up our alchemy real fast. And you can explore any of these tiles that you want. You just hit this big explore button down here in the bottom right-hand corner. Every single one of these tiles, just like Caves of Cud, is a place that you can interact with that has stuff and things in it. So, fun there. The nice thing about that being, of course, that if you feel like you're too weak, the weakest enemies are almost universally just on world map tiles. So just cruise around on a world map tile and kick the crap out of some weak enemies until you're feeling stronger. And then use that time to level up, you know, all of your various things. Oh, I'm making energy potions. I wasn't making minor respites. I need aloe vera for that, and I haven't found aloe vera yet. I'm guessing it's in a different biome. Either way, we leveled up our alchemy just off making 2 of those little potions right there. So let's get a new technique. Apparently I can learn to do sublimation. Okay. Sure. That's unlocked the Rogue's Toxin, which allows me to take Spider Fangs and Stinkhorn in order to poison my weapon and give the enemy a venomous surprise for 16 hits. Poison's a little bit less reliable than bleed. It doesn't always tick for damage. Sometimes they resist it. But it might be useful. I don't know if I have any spider fangs around. I don't think I've been fighting a lot of spiders. Yeah, I don't have one. I do have a magic berserker's helm, though. I swapped it out for a better defensive option, but the berserker's helm gave us a lot of really fun bonuses that make our character pretty strong. And so I've been kind of on the fence about whether or not I want to use it. Back down to the dungeon, and let's see if we can finish this bad boy. Unfortunately, there's no way to instantly skip straight to the dungeon level that you were actively working on previously. I do hope that that's a feature that they add to the game, is that if you've cleared a dungeon level, you can just automatically skip down to lower levels. That would be very... Ooh, 2 raw meats. Nice. Get those right there. Mole meats, don't care about that. Rat tail, don't really care about that, but I will roast off some of that meat right there just to get its weight down and keep leveling up our cooking. A couple of potion goblins down here, which is a little bit horrifying. I'm going to jump in on them. Oof. If I get kited here, that's not going to be good. These guys being able to get damage off on me is a big problem. I'm just going to ignore you and focus on other threats. Because those little fungi, they can't move. We got him stunned up. Oh, 15 damage crit right there. Ouch. Enemy getting very lucky with some crits right now. Luckily, we got lucky with a stun right there, but man... I was going to say, if we don't solve this soon, we got a problem. We picked up a burn from the potion he threw at me. I need to eat some food. Let's get an elderberry in us, because that'll heal us pretty fast, and a roasted haunch. We'll move up this way, and I got to get rid of this spawner before it puts more goblins on me. The good news is, goblin spawners give you a ton of XP, so they're really, really nice. Leveling up in this game is not that difficult. You'll get a lot of levels. Just stick with it. Peasant pot. That's a recipe that I don't have. That'll be good. Might make use of some things. What else we got laying around here? I don't have anything to salvage right now, so I'm not gonna. We do need to get some health back, and then I need to use a soothing balm on that burn to get my HP, which is permanently reduced until I use a salve on it. Let's go check these guys' loot. I'm guessing they mostly just have unidentified goblin potions. We might be able to sell them back in town. This guy right here, I'll finish him off real quick, too. There we go, finish him. We can rest if we want. You don't get HP back from resting. It's not a thing. So it just gets rid of your travel weariness, where if you noticed on the map when I was walking around... Ooh, a trap goblin, huh? Okay, we'll deal with him in a minute. Trap goblins put little booby traps all over the ground. And so they tend to clutter up the dungeon with traps that stop you, deal a bunch of damage like that right there. There we go, stun him up. There, we got him. There's no trap disarm skill from what I've seen so far. But anyways, watch out for traps. They frequently cripple you, and then you got to use a splint on the wound in order to fix it. And so this area is probably chock full of booby traps if he's been wandering around. I am netted right here. No stun on the opening salvo, unfortunately. Cloth right there, though. Let me eat a boiled egg and a roasted haunch. Yeah, because we got a big bruiser guy coming in. I'd like to have energy regeneration. He's going to prep up a big hit right there. When it says he's preparing, that's his wind-up. He can hit you for like 30-plus damage, so watch out for that if you're low on health. You will want to pay attention to some of the cues that enemies give you. I don't know what's inside that cage over there, but now I'm curious and I want to know. Where was the switch at that opens the cage? Right there, on the opposite side. That's a thief goblin. They steal loot that's laying on the ground, so any loot bags that they see laying around, they'll try to loot them. They also sometimes have money on them. I'll save right here before we do this, because I don't know what's going to be in here. An ogre. A level 16 ogre. Okay. He's got reach. I don't know how strong he is, but we'll go ahead and give it a go. I'll put up my defensive mode, too. Hit him again. Ow. Apparently he crippled me. And those do stack. You can get more than one of those. I've run out of my defensive mode. There's no way to... He's badly wounded right now. Oh no, that stun happened at a terrible time. Oof, we beat him with 14 health to spare. Let's go ahead and get rid of these cripples right here. And now that we've removed the cripples from our body... Oh, 5 ogre bones. Very nice. I can get the trade skill recipe to make that bone armor that guy, that rare vendor, is selling in town. I don't know if that fight was inherently worth it because we damaged our weapon with so many attacks. But this is Doors of Trithius. I think the game is great. It's utterly fantastic. It's kind of like a more lo-fi, more sandboxy version of Stone Shard. That's what it reminds me of. It's Stone Shard. The graphics aren't quite as good, but it does have a much more open-ended character system that's like hugely customizable in which you can do whatever you want. And that to me is very endearing. I like that a ton. My name is Splattercat. I sift through the pile to find what's worthwhile in the world of indie games every single day so you don't have to. Today up on the chopping block, we were fooling around with a title called The Doors of Trithius. This game updates probably 3 or 4 times a year. I do not think the developer puts out crappy patches either. His patches are actually pretty rad that add entire new mechanics and new world interactions to the game. It is in early access. It's at 0.5 right now, which seems to imply that it's about halfway done at the moment. I think even at halfway done, this is easily a game that you can dump dozens of hours on into. And so I wholeheartedly recommend it. There are little things like the UI that could be spruced up and the icons look a little bit mobily and utilitarian, but he's already posted on the Steam forums that he's working on it, along with screenshots for the new, like, beautiful barony-looking UI that the game's going to have. And so I'm stoked about it, dude. I'm stoked about it. I'll see y'all tomorrow with something hot and fresh off the indie skillet. It's time for me to go. Bye, folks.